Hospitality Marketing Live show number 447. I am your host, Lauren Gray. Thank you so much for joining us live today, Friday, March 1st. Happy March to everyone. I know it's always easy to say that February passes by quickly, even though this was a leap year of 29 days. It still passed pretty quickly. And we are already in the third month, the last of the first quarter. Probably seeing the upside of leaving wintertime a touch. We do have a short spring break season this year, with Easter landing relatively early this year at the end of this month. So we should see some interesting compression of demand and so forth. But that's not what brings us here today. First off, I want to take a shout out to everyone that is following us on our simulcasts on Facebook pages, LinkedIn, X, Twitch, and also YouTube channels. Also for everyone watching us on our TV channel, the Hospitality channel that you can find on your Roku TV, Google TV, Amazon TV, Apple TV, all your smart TVs. Just look for the Hospitality channel. The live show is always free. And if you are watching or will be watching our simulcast of this for your time zone, we do a recast of this show at 11:30 a.m. for both Sydney, Australian time for our APAC friends, and 11:30 a.m. Wednesday morning also for our London EU friends. London time for our EU and Mideast friends as well. We get and we've been getting some larger audiences. Actually, we broadcast on the TV channel in 209 countries. We also take these shows and put them onto our radio station, and that's in 36 countries. It's on 29 different platforms, 36 countries, yes. In addition to all the simulcasting we do. So we try to be everywhere. So no matter how much you try not to find us, you can still find us somewhere. But today's topic, one that's kind of interesting, since we've been so fixated on Google for so much of our time these past couple of weeks, because Google's rolling out more and more changes, large changes, impact changes to us. And one of the recent ones that just happened this past month, and I say that now retroactively, saying really January, and that was Google has a new carousel, mobile only, and primarily English at this point. At least that's the only one that's being found right now is English speaking for search, and that is Google Places to Go. Now, at first, this seems like a helpful addition to your Google My Business page content, in the sense that we've seen for a long time parts that we can't control, where Google has been in the mobile application of their maps and in Google Business, especially Google My Business, where it would show your hotel. And then because it knows exactly where your hotel is at, and it knows the user that's looking at your hotel at the time versus via mobile, that the proximity, the localized map as to your X miles or meters or kilometers from certain events, we didn't have really any control of it, because really, in all honesty, that's Google's data, knowing where we are, knowing where those other places are, and tailoring that information to the user as to, well, they like museums, so we're going to show them the relevancy of this property in relationship to museums. Or if, in fact, you were looking and doing search inquiries about museums, and then we're looking at hotels, then Google will, of course, try to be as helpful as possible and share that information in a way of showing the data. This isn't that. This does have some control to it, and there is some breakdown points to it. Breakdown meaning different aspects of it that we as hoteliers, marketers, hospitality professionals in general have to consider the value proposition of what this is representing. Now, when I say is Google's Places to Go the new Metasearch, I say that in the context of how it's being presented. In the show notes for today, and we'll share these on the podcast recap today as well. And we do an audio podcast of tools and things and so forth. And we're going to go through a little bit more of the mechanics of Google Places as a setup and configuration. Right now, it's being offered through intermediaries, people that have already been certified and verified to be able to distribute for these. But there's actually several components to how you set up your own account. You have to actually make an account. You get a Google Places to Go center that you have, and there's 4 primary ways that you can get into those. You can be a operator of an event. You can be a ticket salesperson of the event. You could be someone that has events around you that you want to share with, and then you could be none of those 3 and be just a provider of the ability to know guides and so forth. Now, there are some restrictions. You can't do walking tours and so forth, but I think I'm a little ahead of the conversation. Let me explain a little bit of what Google Places to Go is, in the sense that it's offering a carousel of options of things to do related to your business. When people are looking for businesses, and the reason why I say it's like Metasearch is when you look for a particular property or hotels in a particular location, a destination base, you get your Metasearch profile to the right, which is offering for that hotel. Um, Different vendors. Hopefully, you're in there. We've talked about Metasearch 1,000 million times with your own campaigns, but others that are trying to sell you as well. It operates like that, only in a mobile circumstance where there's a carousel in the line of the results. And this it gives you the choices of being able to buy activity based or ticket based things in and around your property or in the destination that you're looking at. Now, this seems relatively innocuous enough in the sense it's just another helpful guide, as I mentioned with Google. But when you think about it, it has a profound impact on the search structure of what people are doing when they're researching whether to stay with you, whether to come to your market or whatever. Let's break it down a little bit into the value impact of what this platform kind of means for people in general. There are 4 components of cost related to your travel. There is the transportation cost, there's the accommodation cost, there's your entertainment or things to do cost, and then there is the food cost. Your eating and dining and so forth. Those are the 4 primary categories of travel. And as we've discussed in shows before, when we talk about budgets and how we fit into people's budgets based on their gross income, based on how much they spend on travel, how frequently they travel, how far they travel, so forth. We've gone through all of this for those that have been loyal to us in the conversations. If not, there are shows. Simply go to our hospitalitychannel.tv, search for budgets as a keyword, and you'll see all the shows, which are quite a lot, actually. I'd probably say we find it budgets and travel. And at that point, I think it'll pull up about the 3 or 4 shows that we've touched and broken down the components of travel budgeting and forecasting capabilities for marketing. So you have these 4 categories. Now, we are, of course, if you're hotels, the accommodations page. If you're a restaurant, you're the dining page or the dining component. If you're airlines or rent-a-cars or gas stations, okay, you're the transportation part of it. We're talking about the entertainment section. It is a critical component of the planning process that people have in their transient leisure travel. And a lot of that, there's a lot of FOMO with that, fear of missing out, where I didn't know I was near that museum. I didn't know I was near the best place to get a grouper sandwich. I didn't know I was just around the corner from XYZ, whatever it was. That disappointment of having missed an opportunity to experience something that was unique to that area is a very powerful motivator for people to make decisions with. So in that entertainment section, being aware of what's around you is one thing. And that usually requires a whole additional search query. Like, okay, I'm thinking about going to City X and I'm looking at City X, what there's to do for when I'm there. Now, platforms like Flip2 have an amazing program right now called Discovery Program, which actually, when you're looking at your dates of interest, it's showing you local events in that page so you can see a sense of what's going on while you're choosing and things that might be on the periphery of your date choices. And if you're flexible and it looks like something you really want to do, maybe even adjusting your dates is a very powerful tool. If you haven't taken a look at it, I know it's running on Margaritaville websites. You can go see it there. Really interesting dynamic engagement tool. One of the best redevelopments of booking processes that is in the market right now. No shameless plug there. We all know that Ed St. Ange is a good friend of mine. So entertainment-wise, you look for what you want to do in the market. By so doing, you have to go through the rabbit hole process of, well, how much does it cost? Are there tickets available for the time I need? What are the conditions of buying the tickets? So forth and so on. So this Google My Places, or Places to Go, excuse me. Google My Places is not correct. Google Places to Go is basically shortcutting that process by making available, as you're looking at a property, a hotel, or a restaurant, or what have you with it, the business of things that you can place in this carousel, mobile, English only. Remember, this is just now burgeoning. It only started in January. Of these tiles in carousel that are of things to do. Again, Google will be able to feature, based on the searcher, what it is that you would be interested in knowing about getting tickets to. And also, and this is the real caveat of interest, the ability to pay and advertise in that space. to be one of those things that you can have. Let me take an example. Locally here, the Margaritaville Beach Resort just opened up, and they have what's called a beach club. And it's a pay-for opportunity to enjoy the full-service amenities of their beachside pool with the bars and the cabanas and everything else that's there. And it's a daily thing. It's a separate price from any stay at the hotel resort. But locals and people that are staying at the hotels, if they want to come and enjoy this amazing pool that's right on the beach and on the bar and everything that's there and so forth, they pay a daily fee to get in. Well, that's a separate ticket. So let's put that in context of what Google Places to Go would do. I'm looking at Fort Myers Beach and I'm seeing what I want to do. And here, lo and behold, is this beach club. And there's ability to get tickets for it right there. I can actually sell that as an advertiser on a variety of properties that are not Fort Myers Beach, Margaritaville. It could be at any of the destination information interests that they have in the area. It could be even on another hotel's things to do list, that even though you're staying at a competitor hotel, so to speak, you're still being offered and the means to actually purchase it. Okay, that's the key element to this. It's just not exposure of an ad, but actually the ability to follow through and go into what it would take to get the ticket and have a direct link to call to action to book for this beach club. So now think of it as a huge opportunity for hotel restaurants to really get a strong footing in making themselves aware of a lot of people coming to a market that they may not have considered your restaurant in your Holiday Inn or your restaurant in your Marriott or your restaurant in your independent hotel, because, and this has always been an issue of no matter how good the restaurant is in a hotel, the sellability of it to a local market is always challenged because it's always perceived as a restaurant for the hotel. It's not a restaurant per se. Very, very good restaurants are able to segment and separate themselves from the fact that they're associated with the hotel. A lot of it has to do with how it's configured and how connected it is physically to the hotel. If it's in the hotel, on top of the hotel, in the middle of the hotel, a part of it adjacent to it, whatever. That all goes and influences the people's perception of the restaurant's value to the local market. But here you have the ability to advertise your products like a restaurant, okay, or a beach club, or your golf course, or your pickleball membership, pickleball things that you can pay for a day pass to a pickleball court, whatever, in a platform that people are looking and using for in mobile, in English, of what to do in your market, of one of the four components associated with a travel destination process of discovery and purchase: transportation, accommodations, food and dining, entertainment. This ability to shortcut down to the actual distributor of tickets is incredibly powerful because it helps in the conversion process in a very amplified way. Instead of me coming across a hotel that I like, but I still haven't made the choice if that's where I want to go, if that's the destination I want. I know I want to go to city X or location X, and I'm just now discovering what it is that I need to do while I'm there. Now, a lot of the things are perennial, evergreen things, like there's always the zoo, or there's always the museum that's there, or there's always certain attractions or what have you. And it doesn't mandate any particular time of year that's unique. However, when you start talking about events, you start talking about unique things like pool clubs or pickleball courts and so forth. If you're unaware of the fact that you come down to Naples and it is the pickle court capital of the world, okay, you might want to try pickleball, but you wouldn't know that because you don't know to look for it. And unless the pickleball court people are advertising for anybody looking at destination information and showing up that way, and even then it's lucky that you don't get the full 100% audience exposure, voice, and so forth, the mechanics that we talk about with advertising, then you're stuck never knowing that you were right next to the greatest accumulation of pickleball courts, and you were interested in pickleball, but you didn't think about it. And then only when you get back home did you realize how close you were to what you didn't do. This now gives the ability that the pickleball court people, and I'm bouncing around with all these examples, can advertise in such a way that they can show up as an offer of things to do, places to go, okay, products, places to go, on this new carousel platform while they're looking at the hotel that is in proximity to them. and making you aware of the fact that they are in proximity to you and that you're willing to offer tickets. Now, this is where the four categories of engagement on this platform exist. If you're the actual product, if you're the pickleball court people, then you can create an account. There's processes, okay, and you get your places to go center, and then you go in and you advertise what you want, and you create the connection to your bookabilities and content and images and everything else. You create an ad campaign for it, and you launch it up. I say ad campaign. You can actually create what you're doing without it being an ad campaign. That's number one. Sorry, as the actual product. The second is maybe I am a ticket provider for lots of things. One of which is passes to your pickleball court. I'm a provider of things in the area to do. Maybe a Chamber of Commerce has a platform like a Eventbrite or something, and they're having these tickets of things. Okay, and they can create their own account as a provider of distribution for them to offer tickets to stuff like your pickleball courts. Then there's people like me that may be operating hotels in your market where I want to create ads about things as a distributor of tickets to be able to put tickets out there of things of awarenesses of what I want to make people buy through. And I am providing them the information and the connectivity because I can to purchase. Maybe I'm a reseller, okay, of these kind of programs and things. Maybe as a hotelier, I bought I'm affiliated with the pickleball courts and I have a discounted price and I want to offer that as part of what I'm offering perhaps. And then you have the ad people. There's the people that literally just want to advertise products that they have that have activities like that you can buy tickets for on this program for places to go. All the tickets don't have to be pay for tickets. These literally can be just assignments of saying that this is there. And if you want to join, you can pick up a ticket if it's a free ticket or something, or the fact that it's available. This whole platform is like that, and it's going to continue to grow in the diversity of what you're able to offer. And right now, it's very specific to being able to sell tickets to activities. Now, there are some restrictions that they are pointing to directly, things like guided tours, because there is a heavy saturation of them, and they're not really often verified or clarified as to whom they are and what they are. They're not allowing the guided tour, city walk people to be able to create these tickets for these things because there's just no regulation verification capabilities. It could be somebody that decided that because I live in the city, I know all about the city, and I post myself up saying that I'll give you a tour of the city. They don't know anything from anything other than they're going to meet, take your money, and walk around and point at things. And they may be terrible at it, but Google wouldn't know that. So the idea of the display carousel in places to go is really that it's centered around individual products rather than business profiles. It's not about your pickleball court center. It's about selling the ability to buy a ticket to come to your pickleball court center. Okay. It allows for the chance to be exposed to, again, one of the four key elements of a travel destination research and discovery. It doesn't stop people from going and taking more time to look at exactly whether they're interested in buying a ticket. It doesn't detract from the exposure of being aware of so many other things that maybe the carousel hasn't displayed. There's a concert in town or what have you. I see concert goers or concert promoters absolutely embracing. Actually, I'm probably going to expect to see a lot of them coming up where they can offer the opportunity to get tickets to their performances that they're promoting. I also think of it, and thinking as I'm talking through this about, so you have a very popular band that you're going to have at your restaurant, and you have a cover charge. Okay. Well, if you have good software that handles, QR codes for entrance and things like this, like an Eventbrite kind of process, okay, then you can go and sell cover charge tickets to come in to see the band. And that's for people that are looking for your restaurant, people that are looking for your area, people that are looking for the genre of music. You would show up for all of those types of things. I think about things that when you're doing conferences and they're in market, that showing that there's a conference and there's tickets availability to buy to join the conference. A lot of that can be tailored to the interest category and so forth. It's an event that's happening in your market and you have that opportunity. I'm just thinking lots of different ways of marketing where if you wanted to do a pre-purchase ticket with a discount for food and beverage, that you could sell things like that. Like, hey, buy $100 gift card for $50, you know, and have that as a completely separate function within what you're marketing and advertising for. The ideas of this and why I think it's very similar to what Metasearch operates as is now is it's an exposure tool. It may operate like Metasearch as well in the sense that it hijacks attribution, where the convenience factor of buying via what's displayed is much easier than the process of discovery, education, and then conversion off of a poorly designed site, an affiliate site that's not clear that it's the true site. That are they buying a legitimate ticket, so forth and so on. That's where you have to go through the legitimacy of getting an account with Google, and they have to verify what it is that you're looking to do. There is a lot of other opportunity to this, more from the retail side of shopping experiences and so forth, that's available in the sense of acquisitions and ability to see what's available in a market your destination to. I'm tangenting off and thinking about the various ways that this is usable in a grander way as a marketing arm of what you're doing, because you are in effect creating the ability to highlight more than your own product. And follow me on this string of rabbit hole listeners we're doing. So you're out every day trying to promote your hotel. You're out every day trying to go over and sell what it is that you are, and the value proposition of your rates, the data availabilities, product quality, review quality. You are engaged socially to ensure that you are engaged with the community for awareness of what your product is, so people can discover who you are. So as they're looking at things of interest in your community, in your destination, they realize your availability. You're maximizing your ability on Metasearch to expose out that you do have inventory availability for dates that people are querying for, so forth and so on. But you've never been able to step outside of yourself as a business to actively promote things about you or in relationship to you. That would be the key element that you can do with something like this. Say, for instance, there is a thing locally to you, a bar that's running a great band. Go back to the same example. We're running a great band, and you negotiate a rate with them, saying, "Our $10, we have a $10 cover for you for it's $8, but here's the link for you to be able to book, and then you have an affiliate link on it or something like that, or a discount code or something on it like that." You as a restaurant, as a hotelier, knowing that this is going to draw people to come in downtown and stay with you the night rather than try to think they're going to drive or do something like this, or maybe fly in if it's a big enough event for the restaurant and so forth, or the club. And you can sell tickets via you for them on a program like this. And all of the ancillary traffic that they may be like, oh, I can see this is great, 10% off. And then they go, and they can also see that they can get a discount with you for staying at the hotel, or the fact that the discount that they get is because they stay with you at the hotel, whatever it is. You're now able to amplify your footprint within your destination market in a much larger sense than you had without this tool. I see it continue to grow and expand. I see more and more availability of things to be able to do with this. This is kind of patterned a little bit off of their Google Market carousels, and very much like Meta. Here's the things available for what you're looking for. Here's the things that are related to what you're looking at. That availability of what this is I see it as a huge opportunity if Google continues to pursue it. Gosh knows Google has taken many great projects and all of a sudden stopped them for reasons mysteriously as to what their KPIs were that they didn't hit, that they decided it wasn't worth maintaining those kind of programs. I think of their Google hosting and things like this when I say stuff like that. So that's pretty much in a nutshell the entirety of what I want to touch with when it comes to Google Places to Go. It is just starting up. I am in the process of pursuing getting a Google Places to Go center to work with it on some of the scaled ideas that I've just discussed to see if they function in that form. Skift has a great article out on, I'll send that link in there too, discussing it in general. I'll also put some links together on the description, Google's helpful but not helpful help guides on products, where they talks about the mechanics of it, but less about the usabilities of it. I'll send those links into the show notes as well, so you can kind of take a peek at what Google's saying about it, what the restrictions are that Google's saying about it, what to do with it according to Google, and then Skift's take on what the impact of it might be. Though I'm sure there's going to be more articles coming out about this as people begin to understand and begin to use it. Like I said, there is already some intermediary agencies that have signed up to be partners to do this for someone. So you can reach out to them, kind of like what Metasearch was as well, where you go and see the approved list of vendors that have gone through the authentication process with Google. We hope to join those ranks as we go through the process of getting an account and help center set up to be able to see how best to utilize the tool and if it truly lives up to what we think it can do, or at least I think it can do, and how it increases your footprint of discoverability and your ability to offer additional services related to what you are, because this shows up in a carousel pattern related to your actual business. In addition to general search discovery, things to do based on what your search queries are for. So I know this is a relatively short show. Really just want to hit this topic because it just came out. It just is what it is. Some other just interesting things. Google's BigQuery is always changing. It's now opened up the door for a lot more connectivities, real direct data connectivities, things to like Salesforce and other data set platforms. Which may sound like, well, why, if my data is already on a platform like that, is because the raw data should be yours, and not all that data continues to be stored. If you know the accounts that you set up with them and so forth, there's a rolling amount of data that's kept, and the old data gets shed as it continues forward chronologically. Keeping all the data, and some people say, well, what am I going to do with the data? That's the real fun part. We don't know, but we know data is valuable. We know that having data and having it to be your data is the most valuable. And so keeping data, and it's very affordable, and it's one of the most affordable ways of keeping data, because of course you're helping Google with the data by storing it with them. But keeping it to not know that sometime in the future, my gosh, I'm glad I saved that data, because now it's able to be used in a much more broader format. AI is constantly evolving with our ability to create conditional information queries. Google just released their first long language math model for Gemini. So that's going to have value into taking data and mathematically crunching with mathematical calculations, not just what's called implied metrics, where you have to go over and create conditional statements to create finalized answers. Anyways, the idea that this data is now being made easier to connect to BigQuery, the fact that you can bring this kind of content together, because the data that you have from these different platforms, once added to other data like your GA4 data and API data, like I told you, we were tracking weather for a lot of places and finding correlations between weather impacts historically and fluctuations in demand and occupancy. It sounds like a very Captain Obvious statement, but I was very surprised by the correlations that it created as to which weather impact made more impact on the occupancy or sellability of a particular date at your hotel. Was it the weather from the point of origin, or was it the weather in the location of the hotel? And the revelations of it were pretty interesting. And also the fact that it wasn't consistent. Obviously, more data helps smooth that out and makes more accuracy for it. But for a year's worth of data so far, it's been coming out to be very revealing as to when you apply that to models like that, like occupancy and ADR and booking pace. You see that there are impacts to it, at least correlations. And from that, you can decide whether or not you should use them in a calculation going forward in the future as a means of evaluation on your strategies when you have future weather forecasts coming up. So that, and again, we did APIs for gas station refills, and we've done APIs for airlift, so forth and so on. So getting the data all in one place and saying, wait a minute, let's take this data compared to that data and this data over here, see what that is with this. And it's fascinating. So the idea that BigQuery is opening up more and more doors for people to actually put raw, specific data into it from other platforms easily is a strong point. So that was the last tidbit to the whole process. We'll keep the show short and sweet related to it. Google Places to Go is the new Metasearch. I would say it has huge potential, and it has current value right now. I would recommend looking into it. There's very few vendors that are involved with this. As I said, it just started recently in January. It's a new product. Not everybody's yet seeing it. It's only English and it's only mobile. So it has value for both of those reasons, but I think it'll get true tour de force when it begins to expand into alternate languages and you get desktop engagement as well. So for everyone that's watching us on all of our recasted or our simulcasted platforms of Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube, X, not Twitter. Also Twitch, if you're a gaming console data person, or on our TV channel, the Hospitality Channel. And if you are a hospitality marketer and want to join a peer level engagement group of people that also do hospitality marketing, you can join us at hospitalitymarketing.club. You do have to pass the quiz. We're not there to just take people that do not know how to do hospitality marketing or people that are starting from zero, but people that are already in the process. You can be a beginner, but you can't be at zero. So there is a 10-question quiz. You pass it with 90%, 9 out of 10 correct. We send you a link to our private group. And it's not on Facebook or anything like that. It's on its own software platform. And it's a closed group where we do live Q&A sessions, live webinars, so forth and so on. But it's a great peer group to ask those questions nobody else can answer. And you walk around and ask a question and you get that kind of stare off in space because they're not familiar with what you're asking for. This group isn't like that. It gives you a chance to ask open-ended questions. So with that, my name is Lauren Gray. I thank you for the privilege of your time, and I look forward to talking to you all next week.